Hey, fellow Desians of the internet. I'm Dan. So, I was recently watching a video by one Gaijin Goomba. Now, those who may not know who that is, Gaijin Goomba is a YouTuber who does videos on video games and their anime and their cultural references. He also does a lot of stuff with the game theorists who talk about, anything from falling masses of Altair from Assassin's Creed to, whether Mario is a psychopath. But I digress. He did a video recently on his own channel about how fandoms are ruining anime. That was in the title. If you like to check it out, go ahead. Anyway, in the story, he was talking about whether or not, again, do fandoms ruin anime. His main conjecture was Gurren Lagann, which is a giant robot series, and if you haven't checked it out, check it out. And he was saying how one of the characters, who's Yoko, who is a very well endowed, kind of scantily clad character, who in the anime they don't make a big deal about the fact she's basically at one time is running around in a bikini and shorts, but she's got a freaking sniper rifle and is a badass. And at one point, the story, she kind of leaves her crew and goes off and becomes a school teacher and becomes very modestly dressed, but then comes back and in the story, they don't make a huge deal about, the fact she's dressed the way she is. Like, yes, occasionally they make the boob jiggles, but it's not to the extreme. But apparently the manga, which, for those is Japanese comic, they came out with that for the series later, about a year later, and they started doing, boob cliches, the grabs onto the boob, or, smacks a guy for touching, going over the top. And he was pointing this out, and I gotta agree on it at times, is that sometimes that fan service, which is the kind of does detract from the story. A lot of times when I'm watching something, all you give a fuck about is the action. But then again, this is Japan. Apparently, fans in Japan want certain things, and anime is made for Japan. And it happens to go across the world because, people like me are like, this cool stuff. But again, it's primarily made for a Japanese audience, which the Japanese, when it comes to their fandoms, get crazy. This is people who, when pop idols turn out to have boyfriends or be dating, you have fans showing themselves burning their memorabilia of the person on a YouTube video. They're that kind of nuts. But why do I bring this up? I mean, of course I'm talking about, well, stateside, one Will Wheaton seems to believe that a lot of, people who consume media seem to be, in this kind of mentality that, if there's no fan service, we're all like, all guys seem to watch fan, and that he's a, evolved male. He's a feminist, and apparently all non-feminists are into wanting slantedly clad women in their media stuff. I'm not one of those people. I'm not a feminist. I'm a secular humanist, which means I care about all people, and I believe that all should be brought up. But he does this long video about, he used the word mansplaining. Now, if you're a man and you use the word mansplaining, you've officially lost your male card. You're no longer a male. You're basically you're eunuch, in my opinion. But he's talking about how, he references the fact the Ghostbusters true trailer, not Ghostbusters 3 trailer has like so many dislikes. And then he says that, how can, men identify with a female character? Like, apparently uses the, I can't identify, he's referencing The Force Awakens and Rogue One, which actually disproportionately has a lot more likes than dislikes. In fact, I was looking, last time I checked about 2 weeks ago, Rogue One had 250,000 likes and only 18,000 dislikes. And of course, those dislikes are from assholes who are the straight. But most of us don't give a fuck. Most of us, as I've said before in my video on my Media Guys channel where I talk about how most of us don't give a fuck. We want to see an awesome movie, and that many male and even female feminists seem to be under the impression that we are like, the Japanese. We want a thing certain way. He reminds me of, I was watching a video recently from a channel. They talked about how when the original X-Men animated series came out, how that Fox Kids wasn't sure about putting in female characters because they didn't know if boys would like it. And apparently, no, the series ended up being a resounding success, and it was a really, I had fun times watching the X-Men TV series as a kid. I used to watch it every time I was out of school. So, apparently, these people don't realize that the moral zeitgeist has moved on. We can watch a female character be badass, and it does not necessarily have to be scantily clad. In fact, sometimes, in my opinion, that distracts from the show. One point where fans were distracting the show was High School of Dead. If you don't know, that's like if George Romero decided to make a zombie movie centered around a high school. Basically, these kids, are at school during the zombie apocalypse. They flee, and it's them surviving. And at the time, the big part of that kind of annoys me is the fan service where they had the boob jiggle where they fire guns. And I'm like, is that necessary? I'm not going to get completely bent out of shape about it, but it just seems like you're wasting animation budget on, boob jiggle, which you could be spending it on more awesome scenes, like more awesome kills. I mean, if I'm watching a zombie show to watch, things get blown up or dead, not, boobs. If I wanted to watch that, there's always the internet. There's always more fun things to watch. But for the most part, I want to watch something that's awesome. I can watch a female character kick ass. For instance, I loved The Force Awakens. I thought Rey was pretty badass. She wasn't scantily dressed. She was dressed like a dress jeweler. Jyn Erso in the new Rogue One looks pretty fucking badass. When I see her, I'm not like, oh, I can't. I'm going, what is there, are going to do more stories about her after this? Is there going to be more expansion? I want to know about this character. This character looks interesting. She seems to have kind of a badass attitude about, she's a rebel and she's, apparently, also a convicted felon for the Empire. But no, apparently Mr. Whedon thinks that I give a fuck that she's not dressed a certain way. No, I don't give two fucks. You can dress someone however you want. Sometimes it's appropriate to dress them in a certain way because it's part of a story. But for the most part, again, dress your characters whenever they want. My only big problem is sometimes when things seem impractical. Like the famous armor bikini, the bikini armor. That's always been weird to me. I never got that idea when it comes to fantasy, If you're going to wear armor, it should fit the whole body. But, again, I'm digressing, I'm going off topic. Well, tangentially. But I want to say to, Milt Whedon, if you're watching this, we are not all 5 years old and going, girls can't be badass. No, most of us like a badass. I like strong women because I've always been annoyed by the damsel in distress. Oh, help me! I need to be saved. Sometimes I like to see it in reverse, where the guy. But then again, I don't like seeing anybody being in a weak position because, well, I don't like caring people in general, and that applies to. Now, yes, you're gonna have to have sometimes you get saved, but that's pretty. That's a theme. But I don't want a Princess Peach with anybody. I need to be saved, and that's an annoying character trope that I wish would die. But it's not because it's. I said strong people characters have no problem. I don't mind them not wearing revealing clothing because sometimes that just distracts from what they're supposed to be. It's nice to see TNA, but sometimes it just distracts. And you have to realize that some of us realize that this happens. I'm Dan. If you like the video, please give that a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think I'm just rambling on. Well, it's my channel. I can do that. Anyway, I will see you later. Peace.